Okay.
Hello and welcome to this Healthwatch Bury live. My name is Catherine and I am an engagement officer at Healthwatch Bury. Today we're joined by Julie and John from Greenmount Village Community Group, who are going to be sharing some information about what they get up to in Greenmount. So I'm just going to start with my introductory slides. So I'll just load those up. So I just want to start with our live stream guidelines for people who are commenting today. And those are: be accepting, respect boundaries, don't be rude. And these guidelines count if you are commenting on a recording of this video on our Facebook page or YouTube channel. Remember, don't flood the chat. We will get to your question. Don't self-promote. This isn't a space for selling things. And remember to keep your language clean, as this is a public space. So today I'm just going to start just letting you know about Healthwatch Bury, who we are, what we do. And then Julie will talk you through about what they're doing in Greenmount at the moment. And we'll end with a Q&A. So if you have any questions for Julie and John, please comment below. So Healthwatch is your local health and social care champion. We collect views from people who use health and social care services in Bury, and we cover healthcare for all ages and social care for adults aged 16 plus. So if you have an experience to share, you can contact us anytime. And you can also speak to us when we're out and about in Bury as well. We listen to your experiences of any aspect of health and social care. And we also have surveys on particular topics. At the moment, our latest survey is about Ask My GP. And I have linked that in the description of this video if you want to fill that out today. And our aim is to improve health and social care services for everyone who uses them. And we do have influence in Bury to make those changes. So if you want to contact us, our details are 0161 253 6300, and you can phone us weekdays, Monday to Friday, or you can email us info@healthwatchbury.co.uk. We have a Twitter, which is @healthwatchbury. This is our Facebook page. And we also have a YouTube channel where we upload our recordings of our live streams and other videos. And we also have our website, healthwatchbury.co.uk, where you can find out more about what we're doing at the moment and read our reports. So now I'm going to hand you over to Julie and John, who are going to share more about what they do in Greenmount.
Hello, John and I have been volunteers in Greenmount Village Community for several years, and we became members of the committee 3 or 4 years ago. We have I mean, Greenmount Village was set up actually in 2010, when the post office was actually being closed down, and some of the residents felt that Greenmount was going to lose its identity. So the community was founded and consisted of volunteers from the church, the United Reformed Church, from Greenmount Old School and Greenmount Cricket Club. So large projects were undertaken in the early years, for example, linking Greenmount to Bury via the Kirklees Trail, commonly known as the Lines. This was a massive undertaking involving Alistair Waddell, the previous chair, who applied for funding from various sources, including Sustrans. Lots of work has been done in the areas at the top of the lines, which is known as the sidings, and areas around Island Lodge, as another example. And there is a team of workers that maintain these areas so that they make them accessible for walkers, runners and cyclists throughout the year. So a group of volunteers, they're called the Woodland Management, and they meet every first Friday of the month, and we're always looking for more volunteers for that. But a good team of people come out and they chop down branches that are hanging over. They make hedges. There's an example there with the hedge on the around the lodge, dead hedge, and they basically just try to maintain a really nice environment to walk around. The playground, a new playground was erected, which because the old one suffered from drainage problems, so it was unusable basically. So the playground was moved to one side of the area, and then leaving a bigger space, which we now call the village green. Again, this is managed by GVC, Greenmount Village Community volunteers, even though it's owned by the council. So we do tend to sort of maintain things and keep things in good working order. In the past, we've held village parties with the sole aim of bringing the community together. So the church, the Old School and the Cricket Club open their doors to provide food and drink, displays of historical and artistic interest, and a real community spirit. We hope that we're able to continue to host these events, as we've missed out in the last 2 years. The community centre, better known as the Old School, has been holding a timetable of activities for many years, which involve all age groups. So, for example, there's painting classes, the Scouts, Beavers, badminton, yoga. We have like coffee afternoons. They have playgroup every morning. So we're very pleased that these are now up and running again after the pandemic, even with new groups forming, for example, Mother and Toddler Group, which has just joined. The Old School hosts jumble sales, antique and collectors fairs and drop-in sessions on a regular basis. These are always well attended and raise much needed funds. All money raised, everything is donated at these sales. So all the money from the sales goes directly into the upkeep of the Old School. And there's a fabulous team of volunteers who turn out to prepare the tables for sale, distribute all the items. Then another team of people may come in and man the stalls, and then the other volunteers come in to pack up at the end of the session. And it runs like clockwork. This is organised by one of the committee members, who is Christine Taylor. And it has been going on for a long time. During the pandemic, we've had to have outdoor sales. So we managed to have some tabletop sales outside once we were allowed to do so. There's also a walking group. Christine is actually in charge of that as well, with another few other people. And this is well attended. They actually walk twice a week. There's usually about 5-6 mile walk, and then there's a longer 10-11 mile walk each week. They have their own Facebook page and a website for westpennineway.org. Another part of our Greenmount Village is a bit of a men's shed group, although it is not just for men. It is the Greenmount, the Greenwood group, sorry, BGG. They are actually housed at Phillips Park, more because of the fact that we had a building that we could use, but it was set up by Greenmount Village Community. And they have attended our Christmas fairs, and they make goods and they sell them. And again, it's all self-funding. But they are the ones that have been making the benches that we've got along the lines. And it's a great opportunity for people to meet new friends and learn new skills. The cricket club opens its doors to non-members and is home to Decaf and Slimming World. We have Decaf was set up to cater for residents living with dementia and for their carers. But we have other people that attend as well to make it more of a community spirit. Before the pandemic, this was running twice a month for 4 years and was very well received. They were awarded the prestigious Queen's Award in March 2020 and hope to return in 2022. So since March, I became chairperson. March 2020, sorry, I became chairperson and John became in charge of the communications. So as you all know, that all the activities had to stop, everything was closed down, and many of our elder residents became isolated and lonely. So the emphasis on our work as volunteers was on how to connect with individuals in need. We set up a helpline and volunteers delivered food, prescriptions, etc., and advertised local stores supplying and delivering food. We operate a mailing list with nearly 500 addresses to inform residents of activities taking place in Greenmount and surrounding areas. And in addition, and this was really useful to help get messages out about COVID and for anybody to respond if they needed any help. In addition, we have 1,000 followers on our Facebook page and over 250 followers on our Twitter account. Also, as part of communication and to make sure we cover those without computers, we use a newsletter known as The Voice. So to tackle the problem of isolation and loneliness during the pandemic, I work closely with Bury Council North Hub group, who enabled me to communicate regular updates on COVID-19. It was with this group that I was able to form a support group for our jumblers. This group of people are the ones that work on the sales, but they do it every week of the year, where they meet on a Saturday morning and they prepare and go through all the jumble and all the items and price things. It is a big job, but it is more than that. It is actually a support group for each other. They just get together and have a bit of fun and a laugh and a brew, and they get a job done, which is really important. They were struggling with isolation because they didn't have this work to do and they were unable to meet. So through working through the risk assessments with the council and finding out how we could do something, with government guidelines, we managed to set up the jumblers in October 2020. This has been really, really useful for this group of people. And as a result, because of that success and because we were working really well with the restrictions, we went further afield and we managed to sort out a group called Cuppa and a Chat, which was formed in March 2021. So this originally was limited to 12 people with 3 volunteers, and we used it as on a daily basis. So the church was open in the morning and the old school was open in the afternoon, and lots of people came out to help with volunteering for that. Gave our residents an opportunity to meet somebody face to face. Throughout the winter, they'd been stuck in. They couldn't even talk to anyone through the garden, so it was over the garden fence. So it was an ideal opportunity to get them out and feeling less lonely. So the Cuppa and a Chat has been exactly what our older residents needed. Some of them had not been out of the house for 18 months. They have welcomed meeting people face to face. And now we run this on a weekly basis because everybody decided, even after restrictions, once we get back to normal, they want to continue. So we meet every Thursday afternoon for 2 hours. And once a month, we try to do something a little bit different. And we've had a quiz and we've had a sing-along. And on the 4th of November, we've got a winter warmer with a hot pot lunch. And then the Christmas theme in December. And we've got plans for next year too. And in August, also to combat the isolation, we organised the afternoon tea. This has been going on for a few years now, and has been missed. It was missed last year, so we invited people even from Hewlett Court Nursing Home. They were also attended, and lots of our residents, as I said, that hadn't been out yet. So we had 60 residents attending, and the enormous amount of volunteers that stepped forward yet again. As people were out walking during the lockdown period, it was requested that we need more benches on the lines. Some of our elderly were walking so far down the lines, but needing to rest in between. So it's been fantastic seeing so many more people exercising and taking care of their mental health as well. So we have put out requests for getting benches. With a member of the council, I identified 9 feasible areas where the benches could be of benefit. And some donations were made, but I applied for funding from the Community Fund, which I'm very pleased to say has been successful and starts today. More information will come out on that soon. This will help us complete this much needed project. We are fortunate that the Bury Greenwood Group are building and installing the benches for us using locally sourced materials. And our Happy to Chat bench has been a huge success, enable people to meet different members of our community. Another job which was accessible during the lockdown period was to get the zebra crossing updated in the centre of Greenmount. Communication with the council and presenting a case study has enabled the installation of flashing beacons. So this is a job that's been on the to-do list for some time, and we managed to get this, achieve this. So the future, at the moment, it's been concentrating on these groups coming together, like Couple in the Chat. But we have got a future project, which is to take care of the health and well-being, and that is a trail, a well-being trail, which will consist of exercise activities. And I'm in the process of applying for funds for that. And just watch this space. It's going to involve all age groups, so children's exercises, gentle exercises, something a little bit more active, and mindfulness included in that as well. So we're at the moment just going through the process of the design and costing for printing, etc. There are loads of things that have happened since 2010, which I'm sure I've not included in that sort of introduction, but feel free to ask any questions.
Thank you, Julie, for that presentation. So there's a lot going on in Greenmount, especially if you've not been out recently. Definitely a lot you can get involved with at the moment. So we do have a few questions, and the first question is, when will decaf be back? So maybe share what is decaf for people who don't know what that is.
Okay, decaf was set up by a lady called Joni Beale, and she and Laura Roberts, and they have been running decaf from the Greenmount Cricket Club, and it is for people who are suffering, who have dementia, but for their carers, and for other people to be involved, people that have been lonely and isolated. So this is an area that has been being covered for many years in Greenmount, but the main purpose was for people with dementia, but not to have them in isolation, to make them still feel part of the community. And so they have a monthly timetable. It's twice a month. It's just one Tuesday of every month and one Friday of every month. And the Friday sessions tend to be a little bit more active, maybe like armchair exercises, even a bit of a dance sessions. They have a whole program of activities that they've run in the past. It has been very, very popular, and again, lots of volunteers. Some of those volunteers help with Couple and Chat at the moment, which has been fantastic. So it will be, Joni is one of our committee members, and she's devastated that it's not been able to run. And it's a little bit different from cup run and chat, it's more because we've been able to isolate. We've been able to be socially distant. We've been able to apply the rules. And I think it would have been a little bit more difficult at DCAF to do that. So the decision had to be made for it not to run during this period. Each time she thought about its running, the numbers are changing and it's become a little bit anxious again. So it's very hard when you have to take the responsibility for something like that. So we did have a meeting last Monday and she did inform me that they are looking into next year. I don't think it will be immediately after the Christmas period, but we will be definitely advertising when it comes back.
Yeah, that sounds really good, really nice sort of group for people with dementia to be attending. Yes. So the next question is, what voluntary opportunities do you have? And do you have anything suitable for young people age 16 on and over?
You might want to join in on this, but the volunteering, I mean, there are, you see, the things that go on at the old school with the sales, with the drop-in sessions. John and I are probably some of the youngest members of the volunteers, and we're retired now, so we're needing younger people to get involved, but it's very difficult with work commitments that people have, etc. We have the Orchard, Hollymount Orchard, where they have a regular volunteer day on a first Sunday of the month, where people can come along to volunteer. You might want to talk more about the Orchard. Yeah. But we have litter picking, where we put messages out, and we have had younger people there. You might have seen from the slides when we were planting the plants up at the surgery, we had some younger people involved with that. But it's hard, really. I think it's harder getting young people involved, and we need to maybe reach out and find another way of reaching out to them.
Well, all the volunteering opportunities, all related to meetings, they'll come up on either joining our mailing list, which is you can find on our website, which is greenmountvillage.org.uk. So join the mailing list, you'll get updated with what opportunities are coming up, and also following us on Facebook. So Greenmount Village Community page on Facebook. It's got over 1,000 people on there. So we advertise these things either as events or as posts on there. So typical opportunities, as Julie mentioned, we've got Hollymount Orchard, first Sunday of every month. They'll be advertised on there. We've got Woodland Management, which is the first Friday of every month. It's a different location, usually around the Kirklees Valley. And we have other ad hoc things like putting Christmas trees up, litter picking opportunities. And if anybody wants to help out with sales, tabletop sales, we're always looking for volunteers for that. That's actually physically putting the tables up and taking them down, manning the stalls, things like that. So whole lot of opportunities. So Facebook and our mailing list is the place to go for that.
And more about young people. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Sounds like a lot of things for people to get involved with there. Then the last question is, what are the best ways for people to stay up to date with what's going on at the old school?
Well, we are currently waiting for the new list, which is being organised by Christine. I mentioned Christine Taylor before, and Neil Carter, who they run everything down there. So we will get that new list out as soon as possible. There have been changes because, of course, some of the clubs are not going to continue. People have decided to either not run them or go elsewhere, or whatever. And then we have some new ones. So we are aware that certain things have started, but we're not exactly sure at what day and what time. So after the meeting on Monday, we were assured that sometime this week we would be getting the updated version with all the activities that take place.
So again, to communicate on those, we've got the website, which is greenmountvillage.org.uk. We've got the Facebook group. We have a newsletter which comes out 2 or 3 times a year that contains a lot of opportunities.
And that's
which
coming out
is going to come out at the end of November. We're starting to put that together now. And we're also on Twitter as well. So anything that goes on the website automatically gets into our Twitter feed. So we've got some push notifications there. So that's where people can find out exactly what's going on. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yep, I think those are all the questions that I had. So I've linked your website in the comments of this video, so people can just follow that to find out more about you, sign up to your mailing list and things like that. Thank you to Julie and John for joining me today and sharing about all the things that they're doing in Greenmount. And if you want to find out more about what's going on in Bury, you can always contact us, Healthwatch Bury, and we can signpost you to other organizations to support you with like well-being, loneliness and isolation, things like that. Our latest survey is on Ask My GP, and I've linked that in the description. So if you have 2 minutes today to fill that out, that'd be really useful for us. So yeah, that's everything for this video today. Many thanks to Julie and John, and hope to see you for our next live stream next month. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.